Not all games have a happy ending, and sometimes those endings can be quite final, or rather, fatal. So today we're taking a look at some of those stories where the protagonist's life and the game itself comes to a conclusion. And I think it goes without saying that this list is chock full of spoilers. Spoilers for days. Let's jump in. And at number 10 is Halo Reach, starting off this list with a game that has the ultimate sacrifice in it. So you play as Noble Six, who at the conclusion of the game remains on the planet Reach fighting off the Covenant's forces, all for the ship Pillar of Autumn to escape and discover a Halo Ring world. The game tells you that your goal is to survive, but really it's just a suicide mission, to take down as many of your attackers as you can before biting the bullet. And the game really drives the whole you're dead point forward with a small cutscene after the credits. But you do get to see a time flash forward to the grassy plains with restored Reach, so that's nice at least. Up next, number 9 is Resistance 2. In Resistance 2 you play as Lieutenant Nathan Hale, who travels back to the US to battle Chimera, who are now hardcore invading both coasts of the country. He's a Sentinel, someone who was infected with the Chimera virus, but fights for the good guys, and manages to keep it under control via application of inhibitors. But after the climax of the game goes down, Hale along with Corporal Joseph Capelli manage to escape the destruction of the Chimeran ships. But Capelli realizes that Hale has been fully possessed by the Chimeran virus, and Capelli does the only thing he can do, which is kill Hale by shooting him. Up next at 8 is Shadow of the Colossus. You play as Wander on a mission to defeat 16 Colossi in order to restore the life of a girl named Mono, who was sacrificed because it was believed she had a cursed destiny. After defeating the final Colossus, it becomes obvious that Wander has been corrupted, and then he's killed as he approaches Mono by Eamon's warriors. But hey, at least Mono wakes up. And at number 7 is LA Noire. Working your way up from patrol cop to a detective, Cole Phelps, a World War II vet, starts to rise in the ranks of the LAPD, and when he starts to threaten the ulterior motives of his partner in Vice, corrupt Detective Roy Earl, he's framed and used as a scapegoat. Disgraced, he's demoted to arson, but gets the chance to set things right and clear his name. Unfortunately, in the process, he ends up drowning when pursuing a perp, who used to be part of his former unit abroad. Next up at number 6 is Star Wars The Force Unleashed. In this one you play as Starkiller, aka Galen Marek, Darth Vader's apprentice who goes from villain to hero, growing stronger than his mentor and ultimately giving players the choice of being good or evil by the conclusion of the game. Now if you choose the dark side, you kill Vader, and then go after Emperor Palpatine, who immediately crushes and kills you. If you choose the light side, you fight as Palpatine and sacrifice yourself by opening up your body to the Force, then becoming a martyr that inspires the newly formed Rebel Alliance. I mean, if you're gonna die, being a martyr and helping the Rebel Alliance probably seems like the best choice to go with. Perhaps. And at number 5 is Mafia. Set in the Prohibition years in a fictional city called Lost Haven, you play Tommy Angelo, a taxi driver who starts working for the Solari family, and after disobeying orders at the end of the game, he flees, eventually brokering himself a deal with Detective Norman, which lands Solari in prison along with a bunch of others who are sentenced to death. Tommy is then sent to Empire Bay for his protection, and years later, he's assassinated by 2 hitmen on Solari's behalf. The fun part is you get to relive his death a second time, except from the perspective of his hitmen in the game's sequel, who turn out to be Mafia 2 protagonist Vito Scaletta and his friend Joe Barbera. And at number 4 is Assassin's Creed 3. The first 3 Assassin's Creed games have us following Desmond's journey using the Animus, and playing as his ancestors, but at the end of the 3rd game, Desmond is faced with the decision of giving up his life in order to save the world. So he chooses to sacrifice himself since it will give humanity the opportunity to fight Juno rather than be annihilated. And at number 3 is Mass Effect 3. Here's an ending that many fans were outraged over, and rightfully so. After playing your way through the whole Mass Effect trilogy, trying to save the galaxy and whatnot, you and pretty much everybody else end up dying. And yes, while a DLC was released to relieve some of this disdain and give Shepard the opportunity to actually survive, if you have a high enough EMS that is, still left a lot of people quite grumpy. Plus, it's only if you choose to destroy the Reapers that you end up having a chance at living, so. Next up at number 2 is The Walking Dead Season 1. This one's heartbreaking, and goes very much in tune with what we've come to expect from The Walking Dead, especially the comics. So you play the game as a man named Lee who ends up befriending a young girl named Clementine. After enduring plenty of hardships together, Lee eventually is bitten, and the game gives you the option of either telling Clementine to kill you or to leave you and let you become a walker, or do nothing, in which case Clementine will decide what to do based on your previous decisions in the game. The series continues in Season 2 with you playing as Clementine, who is just generally awesome, so at least there's a silver lining there. And finally at number 1 is Red Dead Redemption. I think we can all agree that the lead up to John Marston's death is not only wonderfully tragic, but cinematic as f. You spend the whole game trying to redeem your past sins, hence the title, and almost get the life that you've been working towards, living on your ranch with your family happily ever after. Except the government is a bunch of hypocrites and they come after you, resulting in one of the most epic shootouts in video game history. You do end up getting to seek out your revenge afterwards playing as John's son, but it's just not the same. He's just not John Marston. There we have it, friends. What was your favorite game where you died at the end? Let us know in those comments below. But for now, I'm Kelly Pally for Top 10 Gaming, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.